the book. One does not light a lamp and put it under a bed. Likewise, I could not leave this discovery to languish within the recesses of my cranium or the four walls of my study, as it urgently needed to reach the four corners of the world and impel its urgent propagation by 7 odd billion suffering and endangered people. So I dared to attempt a book, my first book ever, and with the first faltering page came a torrent of material surfacing beyond the confines of my research papers. I even had poetry emerge at the end of each chapter to make a surreal statement that engages your soul, and even artistic expression in paintings and illustrations followed. I've done my best by coming up with and then expounding on this crucial solution that mankind needs. The rest will be up to history, and I'm not in charge of that. I was only placed in charge of writing a handle on the crisis by destiny. You justifiably may want to know how will applied holism and this book ensure that we never backslide ever again into the quagmire we currently are in today. So far, and especially today, the world is ruled and led by ignorance and incompetence, and hence all leadership down the ages only resorted to the use of fear. Politicians used fear as their means of controlling humanity in this life, and the priests, with their many religions, used fear to control the affairs of humanity in some afterlife that these priests to this day and age claim to have control over. The consequences of this fear psychosis and cruel hegemony is all too apparent. The psychological damage it produces to our species is dreadful and downright shameful. In diametric contrast and in simple terms, applied holism will remove fear and replace it with rational wisdom, a wisdom that postulates that we adhere to the planet's system of symbiotic laws, and thereby create a far superior, cohesive planetary civilization. This genuinely egalitarian democracy will transform the world into a place of vast brilliance, abundance, and prosperity for all. You further may ask me why I think it's the only plausible leadership paradigm that will ensure mankind's survival on this planet. You see, planet Earth is one big system with trillions upon trillions of symbiotic connections. And you know what? We, humanity, are but one tiny and insignificant connection in this humongous maze. As such, this planet does not really belong to us alone. Unfortunately for us humans, we have been told by some misguided and ill-informed Jewish elders that a God made all this for us and us alone. Today's drivers of corporate greed have taken this arrogant stance to an even lower level of logic. The only logic is there is a battle in which only humanity will lose and the planet will go on. This ignorance of fundamental scientific fact has disconnected us on all fronts of our behavior on this planet in relation to this grand symbiotic system. The reason being that human leadership from time immemorial has not been aware of this big symbiotic system, and all our vast body of accumulated knowledge today across all disciplines seriously needs to be re-examined for this gross faux pas. As such, all education as a whole has to also be re-examined from this perspective and rewritten, and hence the higher education of our future leaders, who I called applied holism exponents, and who will emerge from unprecedented applied holism universities, needs to be based on the paradigm that applied holism postulates. In fact, believe me, applied holism stands between us surviving or going extinct on this planet, and this book is a bridge to that amazing future. A word of advice, and I reiterate again, what I just told you took me 30 years to realize. It is indeed complex. Hence, I sincerely request you to listen to this podcast several times until you comfortably internalize the subtle nuances and crucial importance of this message, as humanity's very survival